Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvina Vaditamastu Mavidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, may the Divine Being look over us lovingly as a mother and father. May the Divine Being support and nourish us as a mother and father. May we have the strength and skill to study together the art of spirituality. May no misunderstandings arise amongst us. Om, peace, 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 and thy blessed beneficence be unto us and to all beloved beings everywhere. Hari Om Tat Sat. Well, good evening and namaste, everyone. Welcome to our Wednesday evening reading and discussion of Bhagavad Gita. We're well along in the book. I believe we're about to start chapter 12, the Yoga of Devotion. Is that correct, Haima?
Actually, we are about to finish chapter 10, the vision of God in his universal form. Now, Krishna is responding to Arjuna. That is where
I see.
We are on page 112.
Well, it just goes to show you how this old memory works.
just a little bit more. That's all. One page. After that, we are moving into devotion, bhakti.
No. If we're on chapter 10.
No. Chapter 11. I'm sorry. Chapter 11. You're right.
We're on chapter 11.
11 last.
Just about to start the Yoga of Devotion.
Yeah, very soon.
I wasn't that far.
No. You are correct. I was wrong.
Okay. So before we begin, is there anything left from previous sessions that needs clarification, or any comment that you'd like to make based on what's been read and said previously? Anything at all from anyone? All right, dears. Well, we're going to finish chapter 11 then.
That's right.
And then we'll
move
into the Yoga of Devotion, chapter 12.
Yeah, you're right.
All right, dear, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Brother Shankara. Good evening and namaste, everybody. Today's Swayam is not able to come, so I'm just taking over. She may join us. And I'm just going to go back. We're on page 112 of this book, if this is the book somebody is following. So page 112, Arjuna is finished asking Sri Krishna. I will read the last 3 lines of what Arjuna asked. 1,000-membered universal being, show me now the shape I knew of old, the 4-armed. With your diadem and mace, the discus bearer. The 4-armed is the explanation at the bottom is, the only explanation of this passage seems to be that Arjuna is asking Sri Krishna to assume the shape of his chosen deity, Vishnu, since it cannot mean that Krishna had 4 arms while in his human shape. If this interpretation is correct, we may assume that God took on the 4-armed shape of Vishnu for a moment before reappearing as Krishna. As has been stated elsewhere, Krishna was regarded as an incarnation of Vishnu. Now Krishna is responding to Arjuna. This form of fire, my form of fire, worldwide, supreme, primeval, manifest by yoga power, alone of all men, Arjuna, I showed to you because I love you. Neither through sacrifice, nor study of the Vedas, nor strict austerities, nor alms, nor rituals, Shall this my shape be viewed by any mortal other than you, O hero of the Pandus? Now you need fear no more, nor be bewildered, seeing me so terrible. Be glad, take courage. Look, here I am, transformed as first you knew me. Sanjaya is talking to Dhritarashtra, Duryodhana's father. Having spoken thus to Arjuna, Krishna appeared in his own shape. The great souled one, assuming once more his mild and pleasing form, brought peace to him in his terror. Next, Arjuna says, O Krishna, now I see your pleasant human form. I am myself again. And Sri Krishna responds, that shape of mine which you have seen is very difficult to behold. Even the Devas themselves are always longing to see it. Neither by study of the Vedas, nor by austerities, nor by almsgiving, nor by rituals, can I be seen as you have seen me. But by single-minded and intense devotion, that form of mine may be completely known and seen and entered into, O consumer of the foe. Whosoever works for me alone makes me his only goal and is devoted to me, free from attachment and without hatred toward any creature, that man, O prince, shall enter into me. That's the end of chapter 7.
Notice
Yes.
Krishna's promise again.
Yes.
That the requirement is single-minded devotion. He will guide you if you are able to bring about, even for moments, single-minded devotion. Sri Krishna will guide you. This is his promise. He mentions it elsewhere in the Gita many times. So the thing for us to do is turn our attention within and do our best to develop this single-minded devotion. Single-minded devotion means what? No longer being distracted by the things of the mind and the intellect, and focusing on that our true self, the single-minded devotion to Sri Krishna in the form of the Atman, the Saguna Atman. So our devotion becomes redirected away from the things of the world in their entirety, in those moments. It isn't that we abandon the world, but in those moments, we are totally devoted to this divine being that is within the indweller. Mysteriously, it is the indweller of every living being. This Saguna Atman, the Atman with the attributes, the divine attributes of beneficence and mercy in all of its forms. So, having said all that, is there any comment or concern or question from anyone? Well, there's Swam. Very good. All right, dear. So let us read on then. That was the end of chapter 11.
Right. She said she doesn't have the book right now, so.
Okay, very good. Go right ahead, dear.
Okay. Now we are moving on to chapter 12, the Yoga of Devotion, page 115. Arjuna, some worship you with steadfast love. Others worship God, the unmanifest and changeless. Which kind of devotee has the greater understanding of yoga? He asks Krishna. Now Sri Krishna responds, those whose minds are fixed on me in steadfast love, worshipping me with absolute faith, I consider them to have the greater understanding of yoga. As for those others, the devotees of God, the unmanifest, indefinable, and changeless, they worship that which is omnipresent, constant, eternal, beyond thought's compass, never to be moved. They hold all the senses in check. They are tranquil-minded and devoted to the welfare of humanity. They see the Atman in every creature. They also will certainly come to me. But the devotees of the unmanifest have a harder task because the unmanifest is very difficult for embodied souls to realize. Can I read this one more time, Brother Shankara?
Yes, but let's just say this is Sri Krishna's remark about Advaita Vedanta or Jnana Yoga, that in this time. So yes, please read it again, dear.
I'll read from the beginning. Arjuna questions, some worship you with steadfast love. Others worship God with the unmanifest and changeless. Which kind of devotee has the greater understanding of yoga? Sri Krishna responds, those whose minds are fixed on me in steadfast love, worshipping me with absolute faith. I consider them to have the greater understanding of yoga. As for those others, the devotees of God, the unmanifest, indefinable, and changeless, they worship that which is omnipresent, constant, eternal, beyond thought's compass, never to be moved. They hold all the senses in check. They are tranquil-minded and devoted to the welfare of humanity. They see the Atman in every creature. They also will certainly come to me. But the devotees of the unmanifest have a harder task because the unmanifest is very difficult for embodied souls to realize.
All right, let's pause there and ask, is there any comment from anyone from your own wisdom or experience, or any concern or question that this raises for you?
Brother Shankara?
Yes, dear.
So when we worship everything as God, not necessarily thinking of the unmanifest, but in a way, everything as a form of God. Is that kind of like a yoga? So in addition to thinking of God as, like a form, your chosen deity, but also nature and everything as a manifestation of God. Would that be like kind of branching out into a part of Bhakti Yoga, or is that?
No, that is Bhakti.
Okay.
You've just defined Bhakti Yoga, seeing everything as God's power, grace, and glory. Everything without exception. You can't think about the unmanifest. This is what Sri Krishna is pointing at. You cannot think about the unmanifest. What is there to think about? It is not manifest to the mind, the senses, the intellect. So there's no way to think about it. There's no way to be with it. You can be devoted to it in an abstract sense. This is why Sri Ramakrishna said, "Oh mother, don't make me a dry jnani." Because though the jnanis are devoted to the welfare of humanity, they cannot entangle themselves with individual human beings. So it's very difficult for a jnani to live in this world and make a living and so on. This is why most true jnanis, most Advaitists, are monks or nuns, because somebody else is supporting them. And they don't have to make a living or entangle themselves in the things of the world at all. So yes, when you are worshiping everything as the divine, that is bhakti. Does that answer it, Swaya?
Yes, Brother Shankara. Thank you. And follow-up question is, even sort of intellectually thinking of the grandeur of the unmanifest helps to again, just makes the divine so much more. I'm kind of like at a loss for words now, but I believe that there's only 3 or 4% that is actually manifest. So when we think of how much is not manifest, sometimes that just is like awe-striking, if that's.
Yes, oh yes, it is indeed. And this is, why is this dream of time, space, and causation so compelling, so convincing? Because it is Brahman's dream. It has all that grandeur, all that power behind it, but it is not manifest to the senses, to the intellect, or to the mind. So we can't think about it. There's nothing to think about, but we can, as you say, be awestruck by the power. Thank you, Swayam. Anything
Thank
else?
you. Thank you, Brother Shankara.
Anything else from anyone? All right. We've read the opening of this chapter. Now we'll go on.
Quickly, I come to those who offer me every action, worship me only, their dearest delight, with devotion undaunted. Because they love me, these are my bondsmen, and I shall save them from mortal sorrow and all the waves of life's deathly ocean. Be absorbed in me, lodge your mind in me, thus you shall dwell in me. Do not doubt it, here and hereafter.
Please read that again.
Yes, I will. Quickly, I come to those who offer me every action, worship me only, their dearest delight, with devotion undaunted. Because they love me, these are my bondsmen, and I shall save them from mortal sorrow and all the waves of life's deathly ocean. Be absorbed in me, lodge your mind in me, thus you shall dwell in me. Do not doubt it, here and hereafter.
Okay. Be absorbed in me, lodge your mind in me.
Yes.
This is what Swayam was pointing to when she said, think of everything as the divine. Think of everything you experience through your mind, intellect, senses, the realm of time, space, and causation. This is the divine made manifest. So if we lodge our mind in that, if we hold that as the object of our devotion and Devote everything to that. This is the yoga of devotion. This is bhakti. This is Sri Krishna's discourse on bhakti. He doesn't call it that, but that's what it is. And notice that he says, I will save you. I will save you from the waves of the world's terrible ocean. So any concern or question about that, or any comment you'd like to make about it?
Yeah, Brother Shankara.
Yes.
So when the mind does still, start doubting, especially with the unpleasant or unlikable manifestations, then having Shraddha in the teachings of those who have realized in the avatars, that helps, because they say over and over that everything is God. So just kind of reinforcing that with Shraddha, that the divine, the teachers and the gurus, and
Let's
they have those who.
let's be clear about Shraddha. Shraddha is not something that you have for something else. Shraddha is the result of your own experiences. You come to this conviction, determination, courageous undauntedness. This is Shraddha. Because of your own experiences. You have faith or belief in the teachings of others. But Shraddha is something of your very own. It's not something that you devote to the teachings of others. Shraddha is based in your own experience. The only way to gain Shraddha is to do enough spiritual practice to where you have the experiences that give you the conviction. So this is Shraddha. Sorry, that's why I interrupted you, dear. I didn't want to let that go on with this misapprehension about
Right.
Shraddha.
Yeah. No, thank you for the clarification. Yeah. Faith would be more of the, I guess, right
Yes,
way to
and
think about it.
we can have intense faith in the teachings and in the scriptures. We can have intense faith. Having studied them for years, we see over and over again that they're telling us the truth. But it is someone else's truth. It is not our own. We have faith in that truth. But our own experience results in Shraddha. That's the distinction that was being made.
Thank you.
You're welcome, dear. And I'm glad you brought it up. Anything else from anyone about what was just said or what Haima just read? Okay.
I think once we have faith, clear faith, Brother Shankara, then the doubts will disappear. We won't even get the doubts, I think. That's what I'm experiencing.
Well, the mind will develop doubts, but we
Yes.
simply don't countenance them. We
Yes.
simply recognize them for what they are, just the mind being its normal self. The left limbic system and the left cortex are designed to protect us. And so there will be doubt and fear. It will raise an alarm bell. It'll say, oh, there's no evidence that is true. Well, you may find in your own experience that there is evidence that is true, but the left mind hasn't recognized that or countenanced it. So the doubts and fears will arise, but we simply see them for what they are, and they arise and pass away, and we don't give them. They don't deserve our attention. What deserves our attention is what we know.
steadfast love.
Yes.
Thank you,
exactly.
Brother Shankara. Thank you.
Mm.
You want me to move on? Reading anyone?
If there's nothing from anyone else, by all means, let's read on.
Okay. If you cannot become absorbed in me, then try to reach me by repeated concentration. If you lack the strength to concentrate, then devote yourself to works which will please me. For by working for my sake only, you will achieve perfection. If you cannot even do this, then surrender yourself to me altogether. Control the lusts of your heart and renounce the fruits of every action. Concentration, which is practiced with discernment, is certainly better than the mechanical repetition of a ritual or a prayer. Absorption in God, to live with Him and be one with Him always, is even better than concentration. But renunciation brings instant peace to the spirit.
So this concentration,
Yes.
of course, he's pointing to Raja Yoga. We think of as Raja Yoga.
Mhm.
The concentration is the heart of dharana, is the heart. It's where they turn the corner and really make progress. The gesture toward works that please me, this of course is karma yoga. But then he says devotion is better than these.
That's right.
Bhakti yoga is higher than these.
Mhm.
So this is why this chapter is so much favored by bhaktas. They see this as complete affirmation of their way of being, and they will achieve everything, including full realization, if that's their wish. I mean, it was such as Mirabai. She did not want liberation. She wanted to be always with her Krishna. So, which was an interesting story for her to tell. Any other comments or questions or concerns? Okay, please read on, dear.
I'll read this one more time, that few lines.
Mhm.
Concentration, which is practiced with discernment, is certainly better than the mechanical repetition of a ritual or a prayer. Absorption in God, to live with Him and be one with Him always, is even better than concentration. But renunciation brings instant peace to the spirit. A man should not hate any living creature. Let him be friendly and compassionate to all. He must free himself from the delusion of I and mine. He must accept pleasure and pain with equal tranquility. He must be forgiving, ever contented, self-controlled, united constantly with me in his meditation. His resolve must be unshakable. He must be...
That's Shraddha.
Yes.
His resolve must be unshakable because it is based in the experience of being absorbed in the divine.
Yes. He must be dedicated to me in intellect and in mind. Such a devotee is dear to me. I'll read this paragraph one more time, Brother Shankara. Very profound. A man should not hate any living creature. Let him be friendly and compassionate to all. He must free himself from the delusion of I and mine. He must accept pleasure and pain with equal tranquility. He must be forgiving, ever contented, self-controlled, united constantly with me in his meditation. His resolve must be unshakable. He must be dedicated to me in intellect and in mind. Such a devotee is dear to me.
Any comments, concerns, or questions from anyone? Okay, please read.
Brother Shankara.
Yes, dear.
So even today my words are kind of not fluently coming out, but we, even if we don't hate everybody, it is definitely, as long as we are embodied, there are things or we like, we don't like. But I think what helps is to again observe that, okay, yeah, not necessarily hate it, but if something comes across that is not to aligning with our likes, but to remember that, okay, kind of acceptance, not even acceptance, but observing that there, this is something that maybe I may not do or I may not like, but um, trying to have a lot, again, loss of words, but rather than suppress it, but recognize that and then let it go.
Exactly. The second part, this is what Sri Krishna meant by renunciation, gives you freedom. Let it go. This is what's meant by renunciation. Discernment of what is so. And then, yes, as you say, you observe, this is not congenial to me. Most of us who are here this evening are not going to be that fond of rap music. But that doesn't mean that the divine is not what is producing the rap music. And it is, so the divine, because the divine is what is doing everything. So we don't find it congenial, but that doesn't, we observe, and then we just let it go. Why should it concern us? So you're very right, dear. The idea is to observe what is so, and then let it go. Anything else from anyone?
Thank you.
Yes. Anything else from anyone? All right, dears.
Okay.
Please read on.
He neither molests his fellow men nor allows himself to become disturbed by the world. He is no longer swayed by joy and envy, anxiety and fear. Therefore, he is dear to me. He is pure and independent of the body's desire. He is able to deal with the unexpected, prepared for everything, unperturbed by anything. He is neither vain nor anxious about the results of his actions. Such a devotee is dear to me. He does not desire or rejoice in what is pleasant. He does not dread what is unpleasant or grieve over it. He remains unmoved by good or evil fortune. Such a devotee is dear to me. His attitude is the same toward friend and foe. He is indifferent to honor and insult, heat and cold, pleasure and pain. He is free from attachment. He values praise and blame equally. He can control his speech. He is content with whatever he gets. His home is everywhere and nowhere. His mind is fixed upon me, and his heart is full of devotion. He is dear to me. This true wisdom I have taught will lead you to immortality. The faithful practice it with devotion, taking me for their highest aim. To me, they surrender heart and mind. They are exceedingly dear to me. Any comments? You want me to go back and read these last few little paragraphs one more time, Brother Shankara?
Yes, please, dear.
Very, very profound statements here.
Well, what he's doing, this is again a catalog.
Exactly.
This is one of the things that is part of the Gita and the Upanishads.
Yes.
It is a catalog
Mhm.
of what should be so and what should, what is auspicious and what is inauspicious.
Yes.
And so we just watch and try to give rise in ourselves to that which is auspicious and let go that which is inauspicious. So yes, please do read it again, dear.
I will. He neither molests his fellow men nor allows himself to become disturbed by the world. He is no longer swayed by joy and envy, anxiety and fear. Therefore, he is dear to me. He is pure and independent of the body's desire. He is able to deal with the unexpected, prepared for everything, unperturbed by anything. He is neither vain nor anxious about the results of his actions. Such a devotee is dear to me. He does not desire or rejoice in what is pleasant. He does not dread what is unpleasant or grieve over it. He remains unmoved by good or evil fortune. Such a devotee is dear to me. His attitude is the same toward friend and foe. He is indifferent to honor and insult, heat and cold, pleasure and pain. He is free from attachment. He values praise and blame equally. He can control his speech. He is content with whatever he gets. His home is everywhere and nowhere. His mind is fixed upon me, and his heart is full of devotion. He is dear to me. This true wisdom I have taught will lead you to immortality. The faithful practice it with devotion, taking me for their highest aim. To me, they surrender heart and mind. They are exceedingly dear to me. That is the end of chapter 12.
Okay.
Yes, any comments?
This catalog
Beautiful.
gives at the end of chapter 12 the result of the practice of devotion is savikalpa samadhi. These are the characteristics of someone who has had the experience of savikalpa samadhi. Savikalpa samadhi is the experience that there is only one divine presence, and it is everything. It is everything without exception. And somehow you are a part of that. You are a part, not a part from it, a part of it. And so this is the experience of savikalpa. Having experienced that, as we said in the talk last Sunday, it completely transforms the mind, the intellect, and for that matter, the experience of the senses. So that what we become is resembles what Sri Krishna talks about.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that doesn't mean it will be there in every moment. You have savikalpa, and then those moments go away. Everything is transformed, and you see things entirely differently. But nevertheless, you continue to live in the world of duality of time, space, and causation. So all of these things that Sri Krishna points out, the pleasant, the unpleasant, the heat, the cold, praise and blame, all this are there. You'll continue to experience them. You simply won't react to them in the way that you did. And having achieved Savikalpa Samadhi, because Savikalpa Samadhi is the result of self-effort, then we can say it's the result of self-effort. But then we get into the paradox of there is only the doer, that God alone is the doer, and so on. Well, we just can't worry about that. Somebody does something, and this is the result. Savikalpa is the result. And and then the outcome is as Sri Krishna describes this. Is there any comment or concern or question from anyone about what was just said or read? Okay, we've got plenty of time,
Time.
so we can go ahead with the next chapter.
Okay. We're on.
Perhaps it would be good to read this last one
Sure.
more time.
One more time. I will definitely do that. Let me read this.
See it in the context.
Yeah.
This is what you become
Yes.
when you have achieved Savikalpa Samadhi.
Okay. I'll go back and read from the. Do you want me to read from the beginning, Brother Shankara, from Arjuna's question 2? It's only 2 pages.
No.
No. Okay. I'll just go back. I'll read from concentration. Concentration, which is practiced with discernment, is certainly better than the mechanical repetition of a ritual or a prayer. Absorption in God, to live with Him and be one with Him always, is even better than concentration. But renunciation brings instant peace to the spirit. A man should not hate any living creature. Let him be friendly and compassionate to all. He must free himself from the delusion of I and mine. He must accept pleasure and pain with equal tranquility. He must be forgiving, ever contented, self-controlled, united constantly with me in his meditation. His resolve must be unshakable. He must be dedicated to me in intellect and in mind. Such a devotee is dear to me. He neither molests his fellow men nor allows himself to become disturbed by the world. He is no longer swayed by joy and envy, anxiety and fear. Therefore, he is dear to me. He is pure and independent of the body's desire. He is able to deal with the unexpected, prepared for everything, unperturbed by anything. He is neither vain nor anxious about the results of his actions. Such a devotee is dear to me. He does not desire or rejoice in what is pleasant. He does not dread what is unpleasant or grieve over it. He remains unmoved by good or evil fortune. Such a devotee is dear to me. His attitude is the same toward friend and foe. He is indifferent to honor and insult, heat and cold, pleasure and pain. He is free from attachment. He values praise and blame equally. He can control his speech. He is content with whatever he gets. His home is everywhere and nowhere. His mind is fixed upon me, and his heart is full of devotion. He is dear to me. This true wisdom I have taught will lead you to immortality. The faithful practice it with devotion, taking me for their highest aim. To me, they surrender heart and mind. They are exceedingly dear to me. That's the end of the chapter 12.
Okay. Is there anything from anyone? If not, I think we'll just call it a night.
Okay, sure.
Because
Very close.
we don't want to start a new chapter and kind of rain on what we just heard.
Mhm.
You'll notice that in what was just read, there was the first part said, the devotee must be this, must be that, must be the other thing.
Mhm.
This is what leads to savikalpa samadhi. If you are those things that he said you must be, then you achieve savikalpa samadhi, and then you'll notice that the language changes from must be to he is.
Mhm.
It's no longer an imperative. He must. It is an affirmative. He is. And this is having achieved savikalpa. This is what then he is this, he is that. And he ends by saying, he is exceedingly dear to me. So is there anything at all from anyone?
Brother Shankara,
Yes, dear.
this is again more sort of personal reflections. Um, I can observe that over the past, I don't know, a few years, particularly since I've started on this journey, I find it easier to get detached and let go of things that were not so easy in the past. I mean, starting from simple things like having to go out for dinner to such and such a place, or have this particular clothing item or home, from those sort of things to even um, thinking about my own, death, and knowing that I'll be leaving those who I considered near and dear. And I'm getting to the point where I think that I feel less disturbed by that. Um, or, you know, old age, and having taken care of my mother-in-law with dementia, I used to like worry a lot, but now even that I feel like, okay, if it happens, God will find a way. But yet there's that lingering insecurity that will there be some challenge that will make me um, fall apart, then I do think again, I give it up to God that, okay, uh, he will take care of it.
Yes,
Um,
dear.
so
Exactly. So your spiritual practice is relatively new. You've been at this for some years now, but who knows when you will achieve savikalpa? But it is savikalpa that gives you this shraddha, this unshakable faith, so that these fears no longer haunt you. So just keep on keeping on. You're doing wonderfully well. The fact that you are so present in these classes and in your own spiritual practice lets you know that you are doing very, very well indeed. And you're right on track. And anybody else who has a regular spiritual practice, particularly those who have been initiated, will indeed, they can expect, as Swami Prabhavananda pointed out, they can expect they will achieve. They will achieve Savikalpa Samadhi.
Thank you, Brother Shankara.
Anything else from anyone? All right, well, it's been wonderful to be with you this evening.
Thank you.
As I said, I think we can all let our hearts rest on this chapter that we've read. And we read all of chapter 12 this evening and discussed it. And so if you can let your mind rest on that and your heart rest on that and seek within your inner being, the understanding of these things does not come from the mind. It comes from the heart. It comes from within. So whatever your spiritual practice is, take these ideas, what we've read, take it within, and let your prayer be, please give me full grasp of this. Let me assimilate it. Let it become part of what my deep understanding, not intellectual understanding, heart understanding. Let this become part of that. And as we do, then these things, the meaning of these things reveals themselves more and more to us. Any last thought from anyone?
I wanted to thank Haima for reading for me.
You're welcome. No problem.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Never a problem.
All right, dears. Om Hari Om, Om Asato Ma Satkamaya, Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amrutangamaya, Abir Moiti. O dearly beloved, lead us from the unreal to the real. Lead us from this realm of endless noise and relentless delusion to thine abode of silence, serenity, clarity, and peace. Lead us from darkness to light. Lead us from darkness and ignorance to the brilliance of thy wisdom and love. Lead us from darkness and ignorance to the brilliance of thy wisdom and love. Lead us from death to immortality. Light us through and through, light us through and through with thy everlasting, shining presence. Those last lines, light us through and through with thy everlasting, shining presence. This is a way of gesturing toward Savikalpa Samadhi. This is what happens when Savikalpa is achieved. Om Hari Om, Om Hari Om, Om Hari Om Tat Sat. Jai Shri Guru Maharaj Ji Ki Jai. Durga, Durga, Durga. May we all be safe. May we all be healthy. May we all be cheerful. May we all have peace of mind. May we all go forward secure in the knowledge that we are in the loving and protective embrace of the Divine Being as our Mother and Father. Om Hari Om, Om Hari Om, Om Hari Om Tat Sat. Dearly beloved, make it so. Any final thought from anyone?
Brother Shankar, this chapter is very clearly and beautifully summarized by Swami Prabhavananda and Christopher Isherwood. Amazingly,
Oh
so
yes,
crystal clear, so crystal clear, everything in this
that,
chapter.
yes. Well, this is the result of an illumined soul
Yes.
who understood these things fully, working with one of the best writers in the English language of his time. So what a collaboration. Hmm?
It is beautiful and clear, very clear.
Yes.
Your path. Thank you, Brother Shankara. I'm glad I had a chance to read this today. I'm honored. Thanks,
Well,
Swami, for giving me a chance today.
it was
It's meant to be.
it was auspicious all the way around. Yes.
I think so.
Any final thought from anyone? All right, dears. Until Saturday,
See you.
we'll see you for the How to Know God class, the Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. Jai Shri Guru Maharaj Ji Ki Jai.